Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. That can't be right. I stare at my phone, hoping the digits shown on my online banking account will magically rearrange themselves into an amount that doesn't make my stomach catapult into my throat. I click on my recent transactions, hoping that I become the victim of identity theft, and a stranger is the reason I am almost completely broke. As I skim down my purchases, my stomach leaves my throat and plummets to my feet. There's no mistake. This was all me. Same places, same amount, same days of the week. Not only am I skint, I'm predictable. I'm not sure what's worse. I glance at the corner of the living room where my most recent Amazon purchase sits untouched, mocking me for being stupid enough to waste money on an unused gym membership while simultaneously ordering kettlebells online to work out at home. God, I'm an idiot. A skinny-armed idiot. I should return them and get my 40 quid back, although I'm not sure it's going to touch the sides of the hole that I'm going to have to dig myself out of. Still, it would be a start. I close my phone, tossing it onto the couch with a groan, while I pace the floor of the large flat I soon won't be able to pay rent on. It's just a blip, I reassure myself. You'll get back on your feet, maybe just cut back. Set a budget. Budget. God, I hate that word. Yes, admittedly, as someone who's technically unemployed, I perhaps should be a bit more frugal, but I'm certain Angela isn't down for staying in with her penny-pinching boyfriend 7 nights a week. She's a girl who likes to be seen. It was touch and go when she found out I'd been fired. But you were taking me to Marb's, babe, she'd reminded me, like I hadn't already surreptitiously tried to get the deposit back. I watched her scroll through Instagram, never lifting her head to look at me. What about Marb's? I know, honey, it's just that. What about Marb's, babe? She repeated, almost singing the words at me. I didn't get non-surgical lipo and a keratin treatment just to hang around London. I appreciate that, but Marbella might have to. What about Marb's? It's funny, when you're dating a former reality TV star, reality is the last thing that they're concerned about. Angela is beautiful, independent, sexy, and probably the most career-focused person I've ever met, and I once worked with a guy who missed his son's birth to have dinner with a client. I have always worked hard for what I want, and Angela is no exception. $3,000 and a sunburned nipple later, I still had a girlfriend, and she had 2 new pictures of her tanned derriere in the sun. Naively, I didn't think I'd be unemployed long enough to miss the money, but in the 4 months since I was fired from Kensington Fox LLP, I've had 23 interviews followed by 23 identically worded rejection letters. Thank you for your interest. We wish you every success in your future career. I'm not even sure I have a future career. It's clear that the doors are closing just as fast as word is spreading about my dismissal. How the hell did I get everything so wrong? Angela believes I'm too handsome to be unemployed, which is sweet of her to say, but she also believes ponies are baby horses, so I'm not relying solely on her judgment for the time being. I give myself a shake and begin productively clearing away old pizza boxes and beer bottles from the coffee table. They're all mine, of course. No one else around here is using Dominoes to self-medicate. As the money has dwindled, my need to lie around the flat feeling sorry for myself has increased. My flatmate and former colleague Matt tries his best to be supportive, but even I know it must be difficult to rally someone who's discovered a fondness for Stella Artois at 8 a.m. You need to snap out of this, Nick, he demanded last week. Get yourself back on track. You made 1 mistake. 2, I corrected quickly. I made 2. From the comfort of the couch, I had observed Matt messing with his dirty blonde hair in the hall mirror, not oblivious to the subtle eye roll directed at my response. He strode through the living room and into the kitchen, his sticky, pomade fingers grabbing his wallet from the worktop. Okay, fine, you made 2 mistakes, but actually 3, but they didn't find out about the 3rd one, so it doesn't count. Does anyone do breakfast kebabs? Is that even a thing? Matt sighed. Look, all I'm saying is it's not the end of the world, mate. You'll find something. I'd knock the morning drinking on the head, though. Technically, I started drinking last night, so it's still part of my drunken evening drinking. Well, you know what I mean. All I'm saying is a slippery slope. Your hair's a slippery slope, I mumbled, but Matt wasn't listening. He was too busy being employed. Matt replied as he marched towards the front door. I'm off. Get a shower, pal. I would be lying if I said I wasn't more than a little envious of Matt. Despite his overuse of hair product, Matt Buckley is a shrewd man, with a healthy bank balance and an investment plan and a couple of wealthy parents to fall back on. Mostly I'm envious that Matt still works at Kensington Fox. As much as I miss the money, I miss the work more. I loved that job, the buzz of the office, the meetings, the after-work drinks, the networking, the camaraderie, but now I'm on the outside, desperately trying to get back in somewhere, anywhere, and failing miserably. I've blown through most of my savings, as well as the £100 Matt keeps in the emergency tin on top of the fridge. I feel that right now, life itself is an emergency. Being skint isn't exactly unfamiliar territory. Growing up on a housing estate in Tottenham with a single parent wasn't the most affluent start, but it meant that I quickly learned how to graft. I started working part-time when I was at school to help mum out, using every spare minute in between school and shifts to study, which led to a scholarship at university, where I worked evening shifts at the 24-hour Asda while my friends got drunk at whatever foam party or theme night was being held in the Students' Union. My main concern isn't that I've been fired for missing a crucial filing deadline, which wasn't entirely my fault, or that I accidentally threw up over an important client's wife the same evening. It's that I've worked my bum off to get here and I'm about to lose it all.